now you take a look at where GrubHub is, and GrubHub's revenues were up 39% in Q1. This is an absolutely unbelievable metric as you can see, as we continue to see these on-demand companies really starting to grow. Obviously, the pressure, I think, on Uber to go public, even though the ride sharing was kind of the focus, I think their growth, and they clearly identified that when they started opening up their strategies for public scrutiny, is that Uber Eats is a big part of where they're going to be looking. So GrubHub, 39% in revenue, up in revenue in Q1. Obviously, this is something that is pretty significant when you look at some of the metrics that they're flowing through. Their first quarter key metrics are interesting. One, active diners were at 19.3 million. This is a 28% year-over-year increase from 15.1 million active diners in the first quarter of 2018. So again, another big leap for them in terms of engagement with guests. Daily average grubs or their meals, 521,000, a 19% year-over-year increase from 436,000. Another stellar performance. And then gross food sales went from 1.5 billion, which is a 21% year-over-year, to 1.5 billion, which was a 21% year-over-year increase in 2018. When you look at also the top 25 on-demand delivery companies, these top 25 represent about $14.4 billion in sales, which is about 1.4% of the overall ecosystem of the entire food system. And when I say the food system, meaning retail food, restaurants, C-store, specialty food, all of those aspects that would be affected by on-demand delivery. So when you look at only 1.4% of the market being held by essentially the largest 20-plus companies in on-demand delivery, you can see this has nothing but upside for these companies to grow. This is a big metric that I'm watching also, is the incremental growth, which will come from what I think is going to be these consumers using on-demand. And we kind of saw this in the modern market aspect, where their growth of frequency had climbed so much, I think a lot due to their digital sales performance. But if you look at on-demand apps right now at 3.7 times per month of people using these apps, and if we continue to look at how many meals per month are being consumed by us in the category of meals at home, but food that are potentially an opportunity for an on-demand or a restaurant operator to get, that's 43.9 meals per month. So we're only getting a few of these meals per month in the on-demand and on food away from home in restaurants. So again, this is a huge opportunity. If you look at that, it's about 100 million or so in potential guests for use of on-demand. And the new target, when you look at that 100 million with any kind of increase at all, we could see 53 billion meals a year making their way into the restaurant space, potentially with digital and on-demand leading the way. So I think this is definitely kind of this next evolution of where the restaurant industry is going to grow, and also really kind of cultivate a whole new set of how restaurant operators run in terms of just the model themselves. Add this with the consumer use of on-demand delivery apps, which were up 239% year over year. I just think this is kind of pretty much a huge potential opportunity for the restaurant industry. However, I do think it's a big risk for the grocery and specialty food categories. This is going to be interesting to see these markets. Again, this is going to become a true market share battle in the years to come. And as I stated earlier, I'm still a proponent of the idea that that Uber and Uber Eats has to become a restaurant entity and start really, moving into this whole aspect of virtual and/or ghost. And when you look at just the amount of growth of these restaurants, just like what you see here in Atlanta, these kinds of activities are happening in a huge, huge way. And it's something that I think the restaurant industry needs to keep a very, very close eye on in terms of ghost and virtual restaurants.